Okay. The end of a very tough and difficult season. Give Louisville credit. I knew going into it they had a very good team. That was, I'm sure, very motivated to come in and play very well, and they did. And you could tell it's a veteran team led by a very experienced seventh-year quarterback that managed the game very well. Thought Jeff and their staff did a very nice job, obviously keeping us off balance, very multiple in the run game. You could see that very evident by the stats. Kept us off balance and mixed it up and did a very nice job against us. For us, the start was very hurtful. To get a drive going, to get some runs of our own, to get some momentum, get some field position, and put the ball on the ground. You're not going to beat good teams that way. And with all the turnovers that we had, we didn't give ourselves a very good shot. And with that, I think it takes a little bit of the hope away late. We get the game to 20-7, get a little bit of momentum, and get a little hope, and it goes away quickly with another turnover. So, you just can't do that. You can't do that in any game, let alone a rivalry game. So, again, give them credit. It's been a long time. We've been on the right side of that for many years, and we know what it feels like to be on the right side of it, and we know now, first time in a long time, what it feels like to be on the wrong side of it. It's not very much fun, and I know the year was very frustrating to a lot of people. To our fan base, they were wonderful and stuck with us the entire year. Once again out there today, and sorry we did not deliver a better performance than that today and throughout the season. I told the team that how much I appreciated the guys, that was their last game, and what they've done for this place, whether it was a short amount of time or many years, like some of those guys. Just greatly appreciate them and the players that are returning, if they do return, because we got a lot of meetings to have this week and organize what our plan is moving forward. But we got to go back to work. We got to go back to being who we are, and we got to be very tough and very disciplined and very fundamental. And we weren't always that this year, and it wasn't very good. I understand that. It's very frustrating. I understand that, and I accept the responsibility of that. We've done good things in the past, and we know how to do it. I feel like we have a good plan to move forward here, and there'll be a lot of moving pieces in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, and we'll get it fixed. And that excites me and motivates me. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Mark, when you build around a bunch of young guys in the last game, the hope is obviously they give you some momentum over the offseason, but when they make so many mistakes today, how does that alter your for the future?
I don't think it takes anything. It doesn't diminish anything, because we feel like there's some very good young talent there. It obviously needs to be blended with other great players. There's not any one person that could make a massive difference. And some of our deficiencies showed up again today. When you get something going, maybe we give up a sack or give up a couple the turnovers, as I mentioned. But we feel like there's still really good pieces in place, and let's be honest, we've seen teams do that, right? I just caught the end of one team in there that didn't go to a bowl game last year that just finished with 9 wins in our league. So you have to make sure that you have the resources to move forward in this landscape, to really make a big jump, and I really feel like that's in place. And so we've worked hard to get some things, to get some pieces in place to build a very good football team.
Eli talked to us Tuesday and said essentially the culture conference Obviously, your portal class last year didn't pan out the way you wanted. So what do you say to fans who are skeptical, like, that you can get that fixed so quickly by adding a bunch of more transfers?
Well, it is not much different, anywhere. I mean, the turnover is real, right? And as I said a couple of weeks ago, and again, I think you guys may have done the research, but I think the number one team in the country has 14 portal players, right? And they recruit pretty well, and and so not every team needs to have massive turnover, but some of them do. Ole Miss put together a heck of a football team with a lot of turnover. I think the norm, the normal team these days are going to turn over 35, 40, over 40. I mean, so that is different. It's different everywhere. It's most definitely going to be different. Is there things we can do better in that area? Absolutely. And so I didn't think, or ever say that was poor, or perfect, or, end all be all. I said that last time. It's not end all be all. You have to have a strong nucleus of some good players, and then supplement it. But it is everywhere. It's every program.
Mark, the question about the culture. Your good teams were hard-nosed and disciplined, and finished games, and didn't beat themselves. And really, the last 3 years, that hadn't been the same. And this year, it just seemed to sort of collapse.
Yeah.
Why do you think that happened?
Well, I think this year, we didn't do a good enough job in any area. There's just no ways around it. We failed in that area. We didn't have the discipline that we needed. We didn't play as good as we needed to. We didn't have there's every level needs to improve, and accountability needs to happen. I think, again, I've mentioned it, I think you've seen that, throughout the SEC, the difficulty of just constantly thinking you're going to go to a bowl game every year. Again, it's good. I think it's 3 of 16 teams have gone to 8 straight. So we've been pretty consistent. To that I'll defend. You know what I mean? This year there is no defense on that. I agree with you. It's just not good enough. It's not like we don't know how to do it. We got to have good players. We got to have good coaches. We got to all do our part, and that part excites me.
Mark, you mentioned just all of the turnover. Well, for the guys that you want to stay, what's your pitch to them to sell them on the future sticking with?
We'll cross that bridge when it comes. I told them, if they stay here, they better be ready to go to work. To fix that culture that we're talking about and make sure we get back to being who we are. And that is a tough, disciplined football team, and so that's the first message. If they don't want to do those things, then don't come back here.
Does that change at all from the last 2 years when you've been really honest about your best players always face interest from other schools? It would seem hard to keep those guys accountable when you have to convince them to stay all the time.
Yeah, it's not hard to keep them accountable. They stay here if they want to. They want to be here. They're going to be here. Listen, there's going to be some change, and there needs to be some change, clearly. And so, we'll go through that at the proper time.
Mark, how would you assess the future of the quarterback position of your team?
Well, I have a lot of confidence in Cutter. We got to make sure we build a very good team around him. We got to make sure we have, strong competition. Gavin really stepped in there today and looked very impressive at times. So I feel good about that.
What does the future look like for Brock?
I'll let Brock discuss that. He and I have had our conversations, and it's not for me to tell to you about what Brock wants to do.
Coach, the word that you kind of used a lot when you guys kind of had the thing rolling was resolve. And even in games when you guys would get down, seemed to always fight back. And some games this year that didn't happen. What's the next step in getting that back into the program? We talked about players, those kind of things, but to get that resolved.
Yeah, we got to be better. We got to be better. Today is another one where we get it. We come in here and was it 20-0 at half, and we get a 3 and out, start second half, we go score and get some momentum and fumble it. Can't do that. You need to be a better football team. Just got to be better.
Mark, in years past, your defenses have been known for stopping the run, but couple of times this year just hasn't been the case, especially today. What do you think kind of went wrong there this year?
Yeah, especially today. I thought today they did a really nice job. He was multiple in his run game. We didn't do a very good at support. Just they were crack replacing, making corners tackle sometimes. Cutting out our safeties once in a while late in the game. We moved a little bit, trying to create a negative yardage play. One D lineman goes too far. It looks horrible. They're just running the ball. And, I think coach did that because earlier they captured the edge on us a little bit, got an 8-yard run. Well, then we try to kind of solidify the edges, move inside, and overrun it. So it just, bottom line, it looks worse than it is. And it was by no means very good at times. But that one we just got out, just didn't play very good.
Mark, a lot of fans have taken to social media today, obviously kind of expressing their frustrations. Can you just kind of have a message to them, or what do you have to say to them about kind of where this program is at?
Yeah, I understand the frustrations completely. We're not very happy as well. So we'll I can promise you that we're going to get back to work. We'll get it fixed, and the misery index goes around. It goes around, and for myself, I've been around a long time, and I'm really concerned and concentrating and excited about the rebuild. Fans got to wait a long time. I get to go to work tomorrow, and for that, I understand it, accept it, and could promise you we'll go to work to get the team back to being a team that they could be very proud of.
How does getting it back on track now compare to getting it on track in the first place?
Yeah.
What's the difference between the two?
Yeah, getting it on track when I first got here, you couldn't turn the roster over like this. I mean, you could only sign 25 guys a year. And so much more difficult, and I don't feel like, I know the record is what it is. I know we did not play, acceptable football at times. I get that. But again, you've seen it. I just caught the end of a game in there. Mitch and I were talking. I just caught the end of an SEC team that didn't go to a bowl game a year ago and just won 9. So it can happen. You just got to make sure you get the right pieces in place. You keep the foundation that's there, and go back to work. We're not nearly as far off as I was when I walked in the door here. That's for sure.
Mark, you've mentioned at one time about the topic of the need for changes going forward. What are the chances there being any changes to your coaches?
There may be some organically. I mean, there's guys that get opportunities, and we'll see where that goes or what happens. But I think consistency, I definitely need. We've had great consistency on the defensive side of the ball, and it kind of shows. And obviously that's my background. But offensively, I think it's really important. There's people, if you watch college football, if you watch other teams and you see the when they're year to year, you can see them getting better, and I think I'm excited to keep that continuity, and get better. I watched, some of the Georgia Tech game last night, and I watched Georgia Tech's, the team improve in year 2. You know what I mean? Offensively in particular, looked really good, and and that kind of excited me. We've got to have some continuity. We haven't had any continuity on the offensive side in a long time, and that's hurt us. It's caught up to us, and so that excites me to just get back to work on that.
Okay, folks, thank you very much. Got players, coaches waiting over you, not